Hello, friend. Jim here with JB's Big Adventure coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. Welcome back to the channel. And I've got some great information for you today. Not only are these emails I received in regards to I'm going to answer questions, but also what they are important things that you're going to want to know about retiring to Lake Chapala. So these are questions that other expats have had, other retiring expats want to know about in regards to living here. So before I get to that, if you haven't already, I'd like to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's fast, free, and easy to do. On the bottom right-hand side, there's actually a little box at the bottom. Tap on it, you're subscribed, you'll know when our next video comes out. Also, give us one of those thumbs up that lets other people know it's a great video to watch about retiring to Lake Chapala. Okay, to the good stuff. Now, this is, I think I wrote down about 60 things that were actually on my emails. And some of these are just ones that I've been able to accumulate for a period of time. And there's like 60 of them or so. And I thought, well, I better go ahead and do that now before the list is 150. So, some things I want to kind of share with you when I get started here, and that is don't come to Mexico with an entitlement attitude. Don't expect things to be here like they are from the country that you're coming here from. If you've been following the channel for any kind of period of time, you'll know that it's important for me to be honest and speak the truth. And I will tell you, I find folks here that say, I wish Walmart had all the prices and all the information in English too. Or I don't know why they can't speak English at the restaurants. Or why is it that it seems like the Mexicans, when they get on the streets, they go flying by both on the left and right hand side with their motorcycles? Why is it that traffic lights aren't necessarily obeyed or adhered to? They are suggestions. So just things to realize that this is Mexico. You're moving to Mexico for a lot slower pace of life and be able to enjoy life more and be able to have the opportunity to just relax, unplug, decompress. And that's what's really about Mexico is all about. So let me go ahead and get into the questions. Now, I do want to share this with you. I got about 60 of them. So you're going to want to watch this whole video because of the fact I might be talking about some that are important also to you. So you want to make sure to get those information. So first one I've got, can't flush the toilet in Mexico. Well, that is correct. I would say for a lot of places here at Lake Chapala, but it isn't all of them. Now, Barbara and I, we've not lived at one place where you couldn't flush the toilet paper down the toilet. I think that in the newer areas of Lake Chapala that you in fact can flush. But I do know there's areas along Lake Chapala on the north side, which is where the majority of the expats live, that in fact have to stick it inside of a trash can, trash bin, inside of a bag, whatever it may be. So that's something that when you're looking at renting a place or buying a place, it might be a good idea to ask about that if that's something that in fact can happen where you're going to be and you can be able to flush. Another thing I hear is, what's this talk about Mexicans being anti-American or anti-Canadian? I've been here for 2 years. I have never once felt that a Mexican was anti-American. I better get that right. That they are anti-American. The Mexican people here are really, really friendly, very helpful. If you, in fact, aren't good in Spanish and you don't have a lot of things you can say in Spanish, as long as you're trying, they really appreciate that. Think about it. If you're in the States or Canada right now and you're at a restaurant and the server is speaking to you in English, that's a great thing, right? But what if they're speaking to you in Spanish? I mean, the same thing here. You just got to realize that we're in a different country and they do things differently here. But it's important for you to learn Spanish and be able to speak as much as you know and continually learning that. Number 3, when looking at retiring at Lake Chapala, Facebook can be your enemy. Can you elaborate on that? um, I would say Facebook is a nemesis of mine. There are some really good things that Facebook does, but in the same regards, there's terrible things that Facebook does. Facebook is full of a bunch of people that want to be right, want to share information that they feel is good, want to make sure that other people know and are aware. But there's a lot of bad information on Facebook. Now, I've mentioned it many, many times. There's only 2 reasons why I go on Facebook. One is to find rentals or properties for sale for folks that I've had conversations with over the phone, or people that I've taken out on my relocation service. And so there's a question in regards to that. And I would say that you just got to be careful. You've got to be careful. If you have a question about something you're seeing on Facebook, feel free to email me, and I can actually fill you in on the truth of that. You can reach me on my email. If you'll include a phone number, I'll make sure to get back with you and speak to you. I really can't say just email me, because the number of emails that I get, and to try to communicate with everybody by email, and on top of that, not everybody sends a phone number, but when there's a phone number, it's a lot easier for me to reach out to someone and be able to share with them the information or the answers that they might have. This is another big one of mine, that there are people on Facebook that are telling people that you can't rent anything for less than $2,000 a month. I don't know where they get that. It is not true. There are places all along Lake Chapala that you can find for as low as $350. I mean, I've actually had some that I've posted on our channel that are only $350. So they are here. And there are places that people say that you can't find something for rent under $2,000, or you can't find anything at Lake Chapala for less than $1,000. It's a bunch of bunk. There's all kinds of places here. And I've got folks that I'm helping right now that are looking for places like that. And I email them different information so they can, in fact, take a look at those and see if it's something they'd have interest in. So that's a misnomer in regards to being able to find something that's very affordable and be able to get into. The age of expats that are moving to Mexico, that are moving to Lake Chapala, the age is actually decreasing. There are people that I've taken out on my relocation service that are in their 40s. People are just wanting to get away from whether it's Canada or whether it's America, just because of the political scene, what's happening with their money. There's a lot of different things. So that's really an important thing when it comes to how, I guess the age-wise. At one time it was like 70s and above, but it's actually become 40s and 50s that I have people that I'm meeting all the time that are younger, that are coming to retire, or they are able to be digital nomads here at Lake Chapala. So that's another thing. And the thing I would say about that is make sure that where you're moving to, whatever apartment, house, that they've got fast internet speed. Now, that's another thing. If you need to have information in regards to where those places are, if you'll just send me an email along with your phone number, I promise I'll do my best to get back out to you. I know I will get a lot of opportunities to talk to people, so please allow me about 24 to 48 hours to be able to get back with you in regards to that. Credit cards. Credit cards aren't actually available here very much. Now, there's some of the larger restaurants that actually allow and accept credit cards, But for the most part, all of the restaurants or the places that you're buying things at require you to be able to pay by cash. It's just the way Mexico is. It's the way that things are done here. And so it's important to know that when you come, don't just bring your credit card, but bring your debit card and make sure that you're getting monies out of an ATM so you can pay for a restaurant or for an item that you're looking at buying at one of the small stores and you're able to pay in cash. Another thing about that, and that is there are ways of being able to get access to your monies. There is a card that you can get. It's called Wise. There's also Zelle that banks have monies that can be transferred from one U.S. bank to another. Also money transfers and Charles Schwab accounts. So these are some of the ways about being able to get access to your money when you're here at Mexico, specifically here at Lake Chapala. Now, I've had a few ladies ask me about this. How about getting beauty products here at Mexico and at Lake Chapala? And I would say that if you go into Guadalajara, you can pretty much find whatever products that you're presently using and be able to have access to those. Which ones are here? I would say that probably Walmart is limited to that. I don't know of a place like that in the one and only mall here, but I would say that what you would probably have to do is to go to Guadalajara to be able to find those kind of products for you. When you're renting here, I would say it's very important, not only when you're renting, but also buying, and that is to have an attorney review your contracts. Now, it just so happens that I'm meeting with an Otero today to get some answers to some questions that I have about people renting here, people buying here, because I want to make the transition of coming here very simple, streamlined, and I need to get some information from an Ontario. Now, an Ontario is a higher level than an attorney here in Mexico. So whenever you're doing something legal, it ends up having to go through an Ontario because they're basically the final say. They're the ones that have the information. They've been around the legal industry for quite some time and have got a good they've got a good trying to think of the word. They've got a very good success record in regards to what they've done. And I would say if you're going to be buying or renting here, it's important to have an attorney review your contract for you. Here's another thing that Barbara and I just recently experienced, and that is you've got to make sure you pay your electric bill here. Now, where we live, where we live is a gated community, and when we moved into the place that we're in now, it turned out that all of the electric bills were dropped off at one certain location, but they weren't handing those out from that location. So there were a lot of people that had their electricity turned off. Now, it shouldn't have happened that way. Barbara and I just moved in, and we hadn't been here for a month, so it obviously wasn't our bill. It was the bill from the gentleman that we've actually rented from. And they were nice enough to make sure that we got refunded the amount. But that's something here that's really important. You got to make sure that you pay your CFE bill, which is the electric company here at Lake Chapala. Now let's talk about utilities. I'm going to cover trash, gas, water, electricity, and internet. Starting with trash. When you're in a gated community, normally what you're doing is you can place your trash at the curb. Now, some actually have you take it to a trash receptacle. Some you just put it at the curb and they come by and they pick it up for you. When you're actually in one of the towns or the pueblos, normally what you'll do is they've got whether it's a street pole, whether it's a light pole or an electric pole, whatever it may be, there might be a nail there or a hook that you can actually put your bag of trash on, so when they come by, the dogs haven't gotten to it first. So that's the trash. Secondly, gas. In fact, we just had that delivered today. It's all propane. It comes by a truck that is got a propane tank, and they fill it up. Now today, Barbara just got our tank refilled, and it was 1,500 pesos, 1,500, which is about $75. Now that lasts us, or I should say, it will last us, because I'm just using the example of two places we lived before, but that could last us actually, I would say 3 months, 4 months. So when it comes to utilities, they're pretty inexpensive here as compared to the States or to Canada. Water. Well, water for the most part is inexpensive. Now, it all depends on what you're doing. What are you actually watering? Are you watering the grass, washing clothes? It just all depends on what your volume is of water that you're using. But for the most part, it's very reasonably priced and very affordable here. Electricity. Barbara told me that our electricity going from one place to another, our bill for the last 2 months, I think she said, was 20 pesos total. That's $10 a month. So I can just tell you that having electricity here at Lake Chapala is a lot less expensive than what most might think it would be. Internet. That's really an important one, especially for digital nomads. When you're coming here, you want to make sure that the place that you're renting has fast enough internet speed that you're able to actually get whatever it is you're needing to get online. Now, it's also very affordable. I mean, right now, I get 200 megs because I'm actually producing YouTube videos like this one, and I need a higher internet speed to make sure that that I'm able to upload the videos and there's no causes of problems, pauses, or anything like that. So internet speed, and also whatever area that you're actually moving to, you'll probably want to make sure of what their internet speed is, so you can in fact do whatever it is that might be that you need to do. Mexico. What are some positive things about Mexico? And I'm going to use Mexico as a whole. It's beautiful, diverse colors, diverse cultures, and I just got to tell you, it is just such of a peaceful place to live. And I think the majority of that, or a large part of that, is being at a lake. And the nice thing is, where we live, that you can see some of the lake right there, and the lake goes across. Being able to live at a lake and be relaxed atmosphere and such is really, really real positive and a good thing. So it's important that when you're looking at coming here, just know that there's a lot of culture here, and it's great to be a part of that, to experience that. You can live in Mexico for a lot less than what you would be paying in whatever country that you're looking at possibly coming to Mexico to live at. And it's quite substantially less. For example, our internet bill where we were in Albuquerque was about $140, $150. That was without TV. That was only internet. And we only had 80 gigs there. So it's a whole lot less expensive here to be able to live. And rents are also a lot less expensive, just because of the fact we're in Mexico. So that makes a huge difference. When you rent a car here at Lake Chapala, if you're planning on coming and taking a look at the lake, just want you to know that when you rent a car here, centrally located at Lake Chapala, you don't have to get a car at the airport. You can actually rent a car from a lady that's been doing it for 33 years. She has a car rental agency right here in Ajijic, and her prices all include the insurance. Now, some folks have insurance on vehicles, some don't, depending on your situation. If you left the States, it might be that your insurance, you canceled it because of the fact you've moved everything to Mexico. So all depending on where you're at depends on making sure you've got Mexican auto insurance, and that is actually included when you rent a car if you're looking at doing that here. If you're taking a driver's test, the test itself is in English, but the signs that you read are in Spanish. Now, We have not gotten our Mexican driver's license because as long as your license is actually um, um, not alive, as long as it's active in whatever country you're coming from, that's good enough for the Mexican government for you to be able to drive here and drive under your license of whatever country you're from. When you go to take, what you also required to take is a parallel test, parking parallel. And I've heard from those that have actually gone ahead and gotten um, their driver's license that that can be challenging because not everybody does that in the states. Not everybody parallel parks. A lot of folks just park in a parking spot, us included. The same thing. So I've been driving for a long time, but I've not always parallel parked. So it can be a challenge to some. And just recognize that and know that before you get here. Being that we're in Mexico, expect there to be a lot of festivities and bands and mariachi music and louder music, fireworks, parades. There's a lot of things that happens here. That's all part of the culture, and you want to embrace that. That's really, really important. Remember, you are not looking at staying in the country that you're in. So when you come to Mexico, you've got to be willing to embrace that. It's all part of the culture, and a lot of it is very colorful and very good to video or to take pictures of because of that. So that's one of the parts of the culture here in Mexico. I should say Lake Chapala, Mexico. There are places that you can buy things such as grocery stores, obviously, and being able to go and get things at Walmart. Um, you're able also to buy, like tools and wood or materials for building. But if you're really wanting the bigger experience and you want to be able to get a lot more, you would need to go to Guadalajara to either Costco or you go to Sam's. The Walmarts in Guadalajara are larger, and so or even Home Depot is also in Guadalajara. So if you're looking for some of those kind of items, it's only about an hour away in Guadalajara. So that would be an opportunity for you to be able to shop and get some of the things that you might be accustomed to and you want those items. In regards to coming to Mexico, you've got the ability of coming and being here for 180 days on a tourist visa. But what you've got to do is let them know at customs, at immigration, that you plan on attending and being here. Your intentions are to be here for 6 months. But it isn't really 6 months, it's 180 days. That's a real important factor about coming to Mexico is making sure that you're keeping track, if you're on a tourist visa, of the number of days that you're being here, that you've been here, or you're looking at being here, so you can make sure that you don't go past that because there can be trouble. They could, in fact, not even let you come into the country. There's all kinds of things that can happen for that. So I encourage you, if you're coming as a tourist visa, on a tourist visa, make sure that you're talking to customs and immigration if you need to, and they're writing the 180 days inside your passport. That's really important. So, I suggest folks to really brush up on your Spanish. If you don't know any Spanish, I would encourage you to learn some. Again, embracing the culture here in Mexico. Um, I'm learning myself right now. I've really made it a goal to learn Spanish, and I'm really working on it when we're at restaurants or at stores. I try to use more of it, and it isn't just to get by, but it's being able to communicate with the Mexican people. So I would say if you're coming, take the time and learn Spanish. Bring as much as you possibly can Spanish wise. But I think what you're going to want to do is when you come, is really that's going to be the way for you to be able to really enjoy Mexico even to another level because you'll be able to communicate with the people here. Um, I've been asked about the bars and the cantinas here. There's a lot of them. As a matter of fact, they're all over the place, and there are those that have live music during the week or weekends, and so they're very prevalent. In fact, There is one restaurant that is in Chapala that is at the east end of the Malecon, where actually you can get free margaritas and free wine during your meal. So there's a lot of folks that like going there. I've spoken about it before. I'm not a drinker, but I know that people come here, they want to enjoy that. And so there is a place that's called Cozumel's, and it's at the east end of the Chapala Malecon. When it comes to transportation, there is no Uber here at Lake Chapala. Now, there is in Guadalajara, but there isn't here at Lake Chapala. What you'll want to do is make sure that you have numbers of private drivers that you can actually utilize that can get you wherever it is that you want to go. Now, Barbara and I, we've got a car, but I do know folks that do need to have private drivers. I do have a list for that. So if you'd like to reach out to me also by email and phone, I can in fact make sure that you've got that list so you can in fact get rides if you're not going to be driving a car here. Also, you can catch the bus. The bus is real inexpensive. In fact, you can catch the bus here from Lake Chapala to Guadalajara. It's about an hour, and it's only $3 round trip. So that's a really good deal. In fact, if you've got your senior card, I believe it's actually half of that. So that's in regards to if you're wanting to go to Guadalajara and you want to use the bus. When you're taking the bus right here in Ajijic or Chapala or Jocotepec or wherever it might be that you're at, it's going to be also very inexpensive. In fact, I think it's less than 20 pesos to ride the city bus. So very, very inexpensive to be able to take public transportation. For shipping, UPS, DHL, and FedEx all do shipping here. Now, it's really, really important that if you're looking at having something shipped, that you then have a place here that you can have it shipped to. So it's really, really important for you to make sure that whatever package it is, that you're making sure that those are one of the three different ways of having packages received here that you can get. But those are the three main ones that you can actually get packages here outside of Amazon. So DHL, FedEx, and UPS. When you are crossing customs, it's really, really important. It's important for you to have all of your paperwork and your documentation that you need for you to have an active passport. If you are giving an FM card, which is the one that you would fill out on the plane, not every flight has them. I don't know why it is that, because when we came back recently from Albuquerque, New Mexico, we went to the airport. They just stamped it. We didn't have to have a card or anything. So I think it's something that they're really trying to get away from the paper side and get more to be able just to stamp your passport with that. But it's really important that you take that serious. You want to make sure to find out what in fact you cannot bring to Mexico. So in fact you do not have something that you're not supposed to have here and it gets you into trouble. The food. The food can be spicy here. If you don't like spicy food, it might take a little bit of time for you to be able to find a place that you can eat food that's not spicy, that you'll still enjoy. And so that's one of those things that you've got to get used to the foods here. Now, there is all kinds of foods. I mean, there's Mexican food, authentic Mexican food. There's Mexican food that you would be accustomed to in the States. Some call it Tex-Mex. Some of it is actually from California. So depending on what you like. If you're looking for something that's spicy, it's definitely here. If you're not really into spicy, just ask a restaurant that you find here that you like going to. What items, what choices are there on the menu that you can in fact not have to be concerned about eating anything spicy and getting sick or just not uncomfortable feeling. Tipping. Tipping's a big thing here because the Mexican people here are really poor. Really poor. And so just to give you some tipping ideas, if you're at the grocery store or you're at Walmart and somebody is actually packing your bags for you, you'll want to tip them 10, 20 pesos, whatever you feel would be good, and whatever you feel that they were worth, but more importantly, to be able to help support the Mexican people. Uh, you've got restaurants also on top of that, which you normally tip. If you're with a larger group, 15 to 20%. If you're a smaller group, you can do 10%. If you in fact want to do less than that, you can. But I really want to encourage you to make sure you're tipping when you're going to any of these restaurants, or you're having your groceries bagged. Those are really important. Also, here when you get gasoline for the car, it's full service, and so what they'll even do is check your tire pressure. They'll clean your windshield. So you want to tip them also. You can tip them 10 pesos, 20 pesos, whichever you feel in your heart that you want to help support those individuals, because they do work hard and they deserve to be tipped. So if you're not used to tipping, I'd like to encourage you to start when you get here. It's really an important thing to let the Mexican people know that you appreciate them. So the old Mexican traditions have merged into new Mexican traditions. You not only see that by the lakeside in regards to the age of some of the towns, the pueblos, but you can also see from the building. You can see from the number of people here. You can see from the number of families that have grown. You can see it here from the amount of celebrations that take place. So it's definitely gone from old Mexico to newer Mexico with all the celebrations, everything within the cultures that happens. I would say it happens here more often. And it's a great thing because you get to be a part of that culture. You get the part of knowing, getting to know them a lot more and what the cultures are here and how, in fact, you can participate. So I will tell you that the medical services here are really great. I recently had a nurse that came down from the States, and she had a lot of experience, well over 20 years. And when I took her to one of the hospitals, she couldn't believe how clean it was and all of the services that they provide. So I just want you to know that when you come here and you're looking at medical services or even dental services, that you've got great up-to-date places here that you can go to. Barbara and I, we go to a place called Lakeside Medical Group. So it just all depends on where you want to go in regards to getting your health care. And it's also very inexpensive. Here, you can get health care for as little as probably a quarter to a third of what you would pay in the States. I've known people that have come here and gotten implants, and for one upper or lower complete implants for cheaper almost than what you would pay for one implant in the States. So it's a lot less expensive here than it is in the States to get medical care. Okay, people complain about the bureaucracy that's in the States. Well, I will just tell you, it isn't the same here. When you're talking about bureaucracy, I would say that if there's any kind of conversation, it's always talking about the States. It's not talking about Mexico. I have not had one thing that I've seen that it was really bad or it wasn't something that I could live through. So when it comes to, seeing what we see in the States or up in Canada, it's nowhere near to that. Everybody's peaceful here, and there's just that kind of the ability of being able to rest. And as I mentioned earlier, just to decompress, to enjoy what living at Lakeside is really all about, because it very is much peaceful. It's important to follow the road rules. I mentioned earlier about here that road signs and traffic lights are just suggestions. But when you come here, you want to make sure that you are obeying those and you are adhering to them, because it's really, really important. You don't want to all of a sudden have a car going through a red light and find out that you're being T-boned or whatever it may be. That would not be good. So just know that it's important for you to adhere. We can't expect the Mexicans to adhere. It's just the way it is here. It's the culture. So that will be something, too, that you want to make sure that you take care of when it comes to that, in regards to the signs themselves. Your safety depends on it on top of that. I just want to say something about the food again. There's a wide range of food here, all the way from from authentic Mexican food to Chinese food to Indian food, a wide range of all kinds, seafood. There's beef here, there's aged beef here, steaks. So there's a wide range of things to be able to eat here. There's even Domino's Pizza or even Subway. So if you like either one of those, sometimes Domino's is a real lifesaver for me. I like pizza also. Okay. Mexicans love to party. They love the celebrations. So there's firecrackers, there's music, there's mariachis, all that kind that goes on here. And it's really important just to embrace that again. It's important to know that whenever you see families celebrate, they're celebrating something, and it's a part of their life. It's a part of their community. It's a part of the culture here in Mexico. So I would say it'd be really, really important to make sure that you understand that. And when you see it, embrace it, because it's great to watch. It's great to see. It's great to listen, to hear the mariachis and the music and just all the different things that take place here in Mexico. When you're looking at renting a car at the airport, like Guadalajara Airport, a lot of cars are actually standards. But when you rent one here at Lake Chapala at Ajijic with Lanea rental services, you're looking at automatics. So I really encourage you, if you're looking at renting a car, do not rent it in Guadalajara. Rent it here at Lake Chapala. Letty's actually got a service. She picks you up at the airport and brings you here directly to her rental agency. Then you can get a car and go from there. Those individuals that are coming because of or are coming due to their visit, and they're coming as a part of my relocation service, you'll want to make sure to have a rental car for the 2 days that we're together. So renting a car here at Lake Chapala is really, really easy. They're bilingual, both of the individuals that are in the office. And Letty and Pepe are just great people. Warm hearts for people, customer service is at the top. And so you'd have a great experience, not having to do it at Guadalajara, but doing it here at Lake Chapala. If you want to get here and you want to turn your phone into a Mexican phone, all you got to do is buy a SIM card. Now, the place to do that is you can buy them at OXXO. I refer everyone to go to Telcel. That's the largest cell phone company here in Mexico. They've also got AT&T, but it would be important for you to get, if you're wanting a Mexican number. Barbara and I don't do that. We actually have our cell phones that we use for through T-Mobile. So that would be something really important for you to kind of make the distinction. If you want to keep your cell phone service from the States, or you want to go ahead and get a Mexican number, that's something else that you can do here. Also, if your phone would have to actually be unlocked. That means that you own it and it's been set, and you can have any carrier that you want to actually utilize your phone from. Okay. Question I get asked a lot is about drinking the water. Well, you can drink the water if it's purified, but if it isn't purified, you don't want to drink it. Now, there are some places in town, such as where we live, and there are some other locations, and I would say more you're able to do that probably at some of the Airbnbs and also at the gated communities and newer homes. You can drink the water from the tap because there's water purification systems. So that's an important thing to realize, that you want to check on the water if it's safe to drink. If it isn't, Mexico is the number one consumer of bottled water. So you just want to make sure. Barbara and I, we don't drink the water here. Not that we can't, because we hear that it's really, really good well water, but we get the big jugs. They're about 5 gallons, and they're inexpensive. It's like 50 pesos or 52 pesos, I think Barbara told me recently. So they deliver that right to the house. They'll put it right in your holder, whatever it is you'd like to do. But it's a great thing to have. Is water, obviously. We all need it. But if you don't have bottled water, if you don't have water from the tap that you can actually drink from the tap, you'll want to make sure that you go ahead and get that bottled water or the larger jugs that you can actually drink from. Yes, you can eat the fruits and the vegetables here. Now, I suggest folks to go ahead and wash them. You don't have to wash them with soap. You don't have to wash them with any kind of insecticide or anything, but you just want to clean them off. You want to use a brush or something to clean them off. because they come from the ground or come from a tree, and they've been handled. I've not heard anybody get sick from eating the vegetables here at all. So if I did hear somebody, that would be a first. So you can in fact eat the fruits and vegetables here. They're readily available. A lot of the berries and fruits are actually grown right around the lake, so they're real accessible. And there's always stands across on the side of the roads, just all along the roads that are actually selling fresh fruits and vegetables. But you do want to make sure that you clean them. Getting an Amazon Fire Stick. I get folks asking me about entertainment. If you've got an Amazon Fire Stick, you can in fact use it here and get all the channels that you're wanting to get. I would include saying to folks that to make sure that you also get a VPN. And what that is it's a way for you to have on your router. That way it lets your router get the different channels that you want that are in the States or in Canada. So that's with Amazon Fire Stick, and you can normally get them for $100 or even less than $100. So they're very, very affordable, and it's a great. Barbara and I, we have high-speed internet, but we do not have TV. So we watch YouTube videos. I'm actually editing YouTube videos most of the time, but if we're wanting to watch something, that's what we watch, is watching everything through YouTube. I want to tell you, you're going to love living here at Lake Chapala. I tell everybody that because you really are. We've got folks that I take out on my relocation service that are looking to move here maybe 2 or 3 years, and they end up moving here like within 2 or 3 months. So it's really something that folks see it to be that great and that wonderful that they want to make an earlier arrival than they normally were thinking about doing. So it's really a great place to love. As I mentioned earlier, it's true that you can actually live on less in Mexico. Rentals, you can get rentals for as cheap as $350, and obviously they'll go on up, but it's very reasonable to live here at Lake Chapala. And yes, you can retire on your Social Security check. That's how Barbara and I live. We live on our one Social Security check. Now, because I am 62 and I just turned 62, I'll be getting mine. It's not a big amount or anything. But the bottom line is that's what we live on. And so it is affordable to be able to live here. Some of the things that people ask me about Amazon. Barbara and I should say me. I order things through Amazon US. I get them all the time. As a matter of fact, they come early. I think that every time I've ordered something from Amazon, it's always come early. And what I use is Amazon US. Barbara uses Amazon Mexico, and everything there gets here in well time. So if you're looking at getting those, they come right to your house, right to your front door, and that's a real reliable service if you're looking at buying things through that way. And we bought some little things and bought some larger things, but for the most part, you can actually use either one, and they'll deliver directly to your door. Something else, when the rainy season is here, and it's here now for the most part, it's the best time of the year. It really is. It cools everything off. It freshens the air. And because we're the same latitude as Hawaii, a lot of the plants that you would see in Hawaii also grow here. Everything from plumeria to magnolia trees to palm trees to birds of paradise all grow here. So it just adds to the green and the beauty and the bright colors of the foliage that's here at Lake Chapala. Another thing, there's a lot of folks that like getting either e-bikes or getting golf carts. Now, that's for transportation. So the e-bike, you can go anywhere across on the carretera. When it comes to utilizing a golf cart, what you have to do is you can go along the carretera on one of the byways, but you can't be on the carretera except to cross over the carretera, and that would be utilizing a golf cart. But those are both popular here at Lake Chapala. And I would say seeing folks on the electric bikes probably is quite a bit more than I've seen actually have golf carts, but I know quite a few people that have golf carts. Another thing, you want to be careful when you're here walking on the cobblestone. The cobblestone, it's uneven. And so what you want to make sure you're doing is just being careful when you're walking on it, because that way you won't twist your ankle, you won't fall or trip or anything like that. So it's important to be careful when you're walking on the cobblestone that you're able to be watching it. There is no cobblestone in the gated communities. It's all laid brick, hand laid brick. And so you'll find that the drive in the gated communities, you're able to walk with no problem. We see people out walking all the time. And so when you're actually out and about, if you're in the pueblos, just expect that there'll be cobblestone. Some of them have sidewalks, some of them have wider sidewalks, but just know that if you're going to be walking on the cobblestone, you want to be really careful. I mean, we'd be watching your feet. I still do. I watch it because of the fact that I don't want to stub a toe or trip or fall. It's what I really want to do is be able to get wherever I'm going. And if I have to, I will be on the cobblestone. But what you'll want to do is make sure that you're watching your step as you're walking. The majority of medications that you're going to get here that you need, you're going to find you won't need a prescription. All you've got to do is take the box into one of the pharmacies. The biggest pharmacy here is Farmacia Guadalajara, and it's by far the largest in all of Mexico. But what Barbara and I do, we simply take our boxes in there, and they go ahead and give us refills. Now, when we were in Albuquerque, I had to have prescriptions for my medications. Here, I've only got one that I have to have an actual prescription for. So being able to get access to subscriptions, access to your medications that don't require prescription, you're able just to get those right across the counter. Very, very easy to do. And also the prices are just a small amount, I should say, a small amount to buy them, but it's a huge difference when it comes to what you pay in the States. So it makes it very much more affordable getting your medications here. Whenever you see a Mexican go like this and says uno momento, that means give them just a little bit of time, but it could be more like this. I mean, it can be a little bit longer, 5, 10, 15 minutes. You just never know. But just know that it happens here and what to expect. That's one of those things you just have to get used to when you're dealing with people. And if they do that, that's what their meaning is. They'll be with you in just a moment. It's important also to be patient when they do this because of the fact it might not be right away. As us in the States and also in Canada, we expect things to be pronto. But here it's not that way. It's a little bit less time. Or let's just say sometimes it's more time, but it can be less time. In fact, that's something I want to mention about the healthcare here. When you make a doctor's appointment, you're not going in and they're checking their watch to see how long you've been there and making sure you're out in 10 or 15 minutes. But the appointments there, for the most part, are an hour. So you really get the opportunity of being with the doctor, making sure you're getting the best of care. That's another important thing here at Lake Chapala. And as I mentioned earlier, the medical costs are anywhere from a quarter to a third of the cost that is in the States. That's a really good thing because it makes healthcare here very affordable. If you're driving here, it's important for you to have Mexican auto insurance. Really important. Now, Barbara and I, we bought our auto insurance when we first came down. We bought it from a broker that was in LA. Once you get into Mexico or even down here to Lake Chapala, you want to make sure to get Mexican auto insurance. Now, our auto insurance agent, if you're involved in an accident here, he has either himself, I have his direct cell phone number, he gives everybody his cell phone number, and if there's an issue, either himself or someone from his office actually shows up to the scene of the accident. That way you're not having to try to explain things, especially if you don't know Spanish. So they actually come and they assist you at the scene of the accident. It's really, really important to have Mexican auto insurance. Now, if you want a referral to a great agent who's absolute at the top, I was in insurance at one time, and I just got to tell you, I've spoken to other agents here, and there's nobody like our insurance agent when it comes to caring for people. So if you'd like that information, make sure you reach out to me and include your phone number so I can get back with you about that. I've had people say it was a hassle, or is it a hassle to bring pets across the border? Actually, I've heard folks that say it's real simple. Literally, they allow one pet a seat, one pet per ticket. but you want to find out which airlines do that. I think Volaris is one that allows that, and I think there's another one that also allows that. But you want to make sure that you check with the airline that you, in fact, if you're bringing a pet, that you, in fact, can bring a pet. And if it's small enough and can fit inside of a carrier or going underneath the seat, they're very, very open to do that. The last time Barbara and I just flew down from LAX, it turned out that when we went on the airplane, there were several folks that actually had pets, small ones, inside carriers. So it really isn't a hassle. It can be done. You just want to make sure to check with the airline first. Your TVs, refrigerators, washer and dryers, just don't think that you're going to be getting a discount here. Because things have to be shipped from the States, you normally pay more. So I would just say to you, just make sure that if you want to bring something, bring it. Because if you rent a place that doesn't have anything in it, if you're just looking at just moving in, going and buying items, it might not be a problem for you financially. But for those it is, just know that if you're going to about thinking about buying something here, it can in fact be more costly than it would be in the States itself. I've had folks ask me, can I buy a house for less than $150,000? And the answer is yes. Those are here. You just have to be searching. You'll never find something you don't search for. They are available. I'm going to be doing a video about that and the rising costs of homes. But I will tell you that you can, if in fact you're looking for something that's less than $200,000 or less than $150,000, you can find a home for that here at Lake Chapala. People talk about driving in Mexico, and you in fact can drive. As I said, you want to make sure you've got an active license, that you do have auto insurance also. People say it's crazy to drive in Guadalajara. The first time we went to Guadalajara, we took the bus, the direct bus, which goes directly to Lake Chapala, from Lake Chapala directly to Guadalajara. We had a great ride, but I didn't think, I watched the drivers, and I didn't see it any different than what I'm accustomed to in Southern California. So what I would say is, if that's something that's a fear of yours, or if you're even looking at driving here at Lake Chapala, it really isn't as bad as I would say most people make it. I think that the concern that people put on other people isn't something that should be done, because not everybody's going to see that as being a problem with the driving. So if that's a concern to you, just realize it's not as bad as what people say it is, and you can in fact drive here. And lastly, I just want to tell you that I just went through all of these. I don't remember exactly how many. I got 63 on here. Just know that you're going to love living at Lake Chapala. It's a wonderful place to be. The weather is absolutely incredible. You can live here on less. There's incredible health care. The food is absolutely delightful. You're talking about the colors and the traditions and the festivities and things and the culture that goes on here in Mexico. I would say you'll enjoy those also. So I hope this has been helpful for you, naming some of the things that some people have emailed me about or spoke to me about, and I've actually taken note and shared them here with you on this video. So hope it's been helpful. Friend, if you haven't already, I'd like to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. It's fast, free, and easy to do. On the bottom right-hand corner, there's a little box. It's a red box. Tap on it, you're subscribed. You'll know when our next video comes out, and you don't want to miss our next video. Give us one of those thumbs up. It lets other people know it's a great video to watch about retiring to Lake Chapala. Stop by, say hi, ask a question, let us know of a video idea that you'd like to see. Also, make sure that you hit the bell, because that way you'll be immediately notified of when our next video comes out. So with that, as always, thank you for being a support of this channel, and also of this channel and the community that's here. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next video.